Explain what Judge Scott McAfee will be considering here. Randy?
Yeah, Russ, the judge already indicated he's looking for answers to two main questions. When did the relationship start? And did Willis benefit financially by hiring Nathan Wade to run the Trump investigation? As in many court disputes, the answers depend on who you believe.
District Attorney Fani, F-A-N-I. Last name is Willis. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 2022.
We started
When did
screwing.
your romantic relationship with Miss Willis begin?
2022.
But just look at how he was like waiting for her to finish the question so he can answer with 2022. Because that was our rehearsed answer, right?
That would have been after Fani Willis brought Nathan Wade into the Trump criminal probe, paying him around $700,000.
Wow. Look at that. Look at that. They said that's like twice the money that any of the other attorneys was making. So, it's not uncommon that we see the people to do this kind of stuff, like I was saying before, that Tiffany Hayner lady, who's the mayor, and to get in these positions and then just like rotate and get the money to just recycle through them. It's, it's bad because they're getting over on the backs of hardworking people in the community, taxpayers, people that's working hard to pay their taxes, that's barely making it, or, just barely making it, check to check. And then these guys are getting over like fat rats because they are beating the system by somebody having a position of power. This is wrong. Wrong.
To date. But an estranged friend and former DA staffer Robert Yurdy testified the two actually began dating 3 years earlier. That's also what former Wade law partner Terrence Bradley texted one of the defense attorneys. But when Bradley was questioned under oath, his story changed, insisting his texts were speculation.
I do not have knowledge of it starting or when it started.
Terrence, you told me that it started when they were both in this court.
Wait a minute, now you told me this. Now he don't have no knowledge. Rehearsed.
Judges, though, correct?
That is incorrect.
Defense attorneys filed a motion asking the judge to consider cell phone tracking records from 2021, which they say show Wade spending time at Willis's hateful condo.
Look at that. This looked like a booty call. 10:45 p.m. to 3:28 a.m. Booty call. Look at this one. 12:43 a.m. to 4:55 a.m. Come on, y'all. This obvious. I can't believe that they even had the audacity to try to make up a story on this when it's so obvious what's going on.
After hours, Willis's team argued the data is unreliable and want McAfee to ignore it.
A man is not a plan. A man is a companion. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Willis denied under oath profiting from her decision to hire Wade, insisting the two of them roughly shared expenses when they vacationed in California and the Caribbean. But they each testified she always paid him in cash, an explanation that left defense attorneys befuddled.
You don't have a single solitary deposit
Look at him
slip
smirking.
to corroborate or
face. Big old smirk. Look at he's smirking. This dude asking him, you don't have a single nothing to show you what you got paid this money? Watch this answer.
support any of your allegations that you were paid by Mrs. Willis in cash, do you?
No, sir.
Not a single
He cracking up laughing. He's laughing.
solitary one, not a one.
Not
The money
one.
that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
It is unlikely that Judge McAfee will rule from the bench after the closing arguments tomorrow. What is likely is that whichever side loses in this case will be appealing, meaning the case will be delayed even longer.
Yeah, I mean, is it even possible to say when a trial could potentially start? Well, no, not really. Not until you get all this worked out and decide who is going to be the prosecutor in the case. We did get like a taste of what a trial might look like in this hearing, though. There were 9 attorneys. Each one of them got a chance to ask a question, cross-examine every witness. Now imagine 15 attorneys, because that's how many defendants there are in the case, each doing that with every witness over.
They might as well just go on and shut that down because the state, Georgia State, they gonna get slaughtered by all those high-powered attorneys and these people sitting around here sleeping. Because even Fani said in her testimony, "Oh yeah, I was working. I had this judgeship. I only had to be there for 2 times a month." I mean, like you can see the type of behavior that these are lazy people that's not trying to do any work. That's how they got caught slipping, because they're not actually trying to do any work. They're just trying to use this as an excuse to build a city, to build a state, bill the state all these exorbitant salaries and stuff for their own personal gain. And they didn't know that that they was going to be looking at them to get this all figured out. So what the next one I want to show y'all is this the leaked audio. This was the one I was trying to show you a little bit earlier when I was saying it's a trip how the friend didn't want to say why she left or chose to resign or out of the office because of some some bad stuff happening and stuff. And I just want to show this here. This is the leaked video that I was telling you about to show the character of this here Fani Willis. Have the music.
Bombshell new audio appears to show a whistleblower privately warned embattled Georgia DA Fani Willis that her top aide was abusing federal funds. Now, in the audio, Willis appears to agree with this whistleblower and say that she'd look into it. Yet a little less than 2 months later, the staffer who raised the concerns was fired. Let's take a listen to that audio.
He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're going to get MacBooks, we're going to do that, we're going to get swag, we're going to use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county, all this. Took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew for a fact, Mr. McAfee respectfully did not know what he was doing, period.
So I respect that is your.
Now, listen to how she's just kind of dismissed her. She's handling her now. This lady pouring out her heart, saying that, hey, look, over here in this department, they about to take this money and do some wrong stuff with it. They taking the money and they talking about they going to get MacBooks. They about to be flossing. They about to be living it up off of this grant money. And now listen to what she telling her.
Her assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. McAfee were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong.
She doing some serious mental abuse right now. She's saying, I already know that you guys weren't getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment's not right or anything, but, and then all of a sudden, a month or so later, this lady gets fired. This lady is wicked. She probably had something going on with the guy because she's benefiting from all these people who are exploiting these services. And then anybody who's going to tell need to get out. Just like in training day when they was taking that money, they were stealing the money from the bad people, but everybody that was part of that squad had to be in on it because they was splitting the money up. So the new guy who was trying to be the good cop, he's not fitting in there because the head guy is corrupt. The head person here, this head woman is corrupt.
I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
McAfee, and this is my personal opinion, to one woman to another, is dangerous to your administration.
Wow. So she's trying to warn her woman to woman. And look what this has to do.
Yeah. So the implication here is that this whistleblower came forward about another employee who wanted to misuse grant funds. And after coming forward in that kind of, nervous, heated, excited way that we just heard, she was the one that was ultimately fired. Now, you also did hear Fani Willis say, I know that you guys have been having trouble at work. So this is a snippet of a broader circumstance. Who knows? There's other reasons that people could be fired. Sometimes people are substantively in the right, but there are employment problems that
absolutely
outstrip the conflict at issue here. Who knows?
Absolutely. We should proceed cautiously. This whistleblower who was fired spoke to the Free Beacon, the Washington Free Beacon, and provided this audio. But I have to say, what's alleged in here is extremely serious.
Yeah.
What the whistleblower says is that this grant, and the whistleblower worked doing in the DA, in Fani Willis's office, doing work with nonviolent juvenile offenders. This is important work. That they received a grant from the federal government earmarked for the creation of.
And the people in the county that she's the DA over don't like her. They already accused her of being corrupt. So she's probably been robbing the people for all this time. And just because she's in a position of power, she feels she's untouchable. And anybody who's going to speak out against doing this wrongdoing is going to be out of here, because you're not going to blow it for all of us. People, when money's involved, people will do whatever it takes. They don't care. You're not going to cut off this gravy train. I got this position because I knew once I got in power, I could hire my friends. I can give money to my daddy. I could do all of this stuff.
Of a center of youth empowerment and gang prevention. Again, that sounds like a very worthy cause for public funding. And what she says is this other employee, Michael Cuffey, wanted to use it to purchase swag, computers, and travel to misuse funds for the greater enjoyment of the office. And she went to Fani Willis and said, he can't do that. That's not what it's for. This is exactly what we want. This is what everyone wants. When there's misuse of public funding for government employees to speak up and report it and say something
But not if she is the one who's misusing the funds.
about it. That's what we all want. So good for her for doing that. And Fani Willis there is trying to calm her down. It's clear this was a difficult workplace.
It didn't sound like she was trying to calm her down to me. It sounded like she was trying to listen to exactly what she was saying. And once she realized that she was going to tell, the plan to execute her was on. Let's move it back just because the conversation is real brief, but just listen to the voice. Listen till you can hear her voice.
The staffer who raised the concerns was fired. Let's take a listen to that audio.
He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're going to get MacBooks. We're going to do that. We're going to get swag. We're going to use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that.
Listen to that. We're going to use it for travel. What is Fani and dude getting, accused of? Using the money for travel. This is their whole little formula. The whole office was doing this stuff. Then you're going to have one or two real people that, be like, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm an American. I'm a good Samaritan, all this stuff. And then you're not realizing that you in the water with all these sharks.
It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county. All this took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew.
She don't even realize she's telling it to the executor. Now listen to Fani. Now, if she's all emotional, she's, and they doing this, they do it. She, I'm trying to tell it to you, woman to woman. Right? That's how she's coming. Listen to Fani.
Or in fact, Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing, period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along.
Look at it. I respect your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. Not anything about, I can't believe this is happening, or none of that stuff. She wasn't outraged at the accusation of this man and the whole team of them getting ready to mishandle this money.
And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
Cuffey, and this is my personal opinion, to one woman to another, is dangerous to your administration.
She warning her that this dude is dangerous to her administration, but she's not realizing that these are the type of people that Fani, put in there to be able to do just this very thing, because she herself is doing it.
Yeah. So
So I wanted to show y'all that too. This goes to show the character. I remember back in the early 90s, and I was a new nurse working at this nursing home, and the director of nurses, she had two daughters who were also nurses. So she had hired them and their boyfriends who were nurses too. So everybody that was there was pretty much, connected with her and her two daughters and their boyfriends and so on and so forth. So, I was like, hey, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that, even though, that is considered nepotism. However, my thing is this: that's cool that you're giving your people and your family positions, but your people need to do the work too. The bad thing is that they would write themselves in because they would be late coming, and not just like 10 minutes late. I'm talking about hours late. If you're supposed to be there to get report of your patients and stuff at 11, and these people coming in at 4. So they patients didn't get no care. And they would all do this. And me, I'm about the truth and the honesty. Like, I'm thinking, like, if I'm coming to you telling you that this is going on, that you gonna get on your people. But no, people like that not trying to do that because they are guilty of stealing something too. To me, that's stealing time. You wasn't at work and you are hurting the people because of what you're doing. So I ended up getting fired shortly after that too for speaking out. And I hurt myself in that lady who is, all worked up about how can people be, conspiring to cheat the community like this when they're, these organizations, these grants are for specific reasons to help people. And y'all talking about how y'all about to be balling and all this kind of stuff, just to show you that this spirit is out there. There are the people that do this kind of stuff. And then there are the people, the honest people that's not trying to be involved in this. And people like this Fani have intimidated everybody. Like everybody was sticking up and supporting them. Even the few ones that knew this is how it goes, they just wouldn't say nothing because they saw that those of us who did speak up and say something, because I even reported it to corporate to say, like, look, she's up here. And then anybody who speaks out, she fires them. She had a reputation to call her the Terminator. And I'm sure this Fani got the same thing because they had to me remind me of one another and stuff. Balance say that Fani is corrupt. Exactly. I've been feeling the same thing. And in every industry, there is some corrupt people that's in management or leadership in some way. They're out there and stuff. So this here is nothing new. Nothing new at all. Okay, so we just did that. And that. All right, so the dots that are to be connected here is because one of their complaints that they were trying to make was that they were trying to get her on trying to stir up the races, right? By saying that they were being racist because they were, questioning her black lover, her black boy. and stuff like that. So I know that that's one of the big things that a lot of these people in charge try to put out there to get Black people emotional and angry and frustrated and outraged and keep a division, because united we stand and divided we fall is a true statement, because there's strength in numbers. But if we feel divided and separated because we still worked up about some racism and all this stuff, we really can't grow. This is how they're able to keep everybody, divided, not realizing that we, the people that are on the side of truth, is a group, and that group could consist of Black, white, male, female, right? And that a lot of times, oftentimes, they'll have the Black people in power, and they're the main ones that are controlling, manipulating, and stealing from the poor people, the poor Black people. All right, so anyway, here is something that I feel like we could be hopeful for, because this is about a mayor who's about to go to prison for doing this very thing that these people have been doing. All right, so this here is the former Hempstead mayor headed to prison, and this is from 2 weeks ago. All right, so we're going to see this.
And that sentence comes nearly 6 years after a routine audit uncovered questionable spending at city.
Questionable spending. It's the same MO. Unfortunately, sometimes Black people get into these positions and they feel like they can just do all this little criminal stuff and get away with it, because nobody is gonna be able to look at them because they're in these positions of power. But it's a new day. 2024 is about revealing and the truth coming to the forefront. So let's listen to this.
Hall. KPRC2 investigator Robert Arnold has been on this case since former Mayor Michael Wolf was first charged. He is joining us now live from Hempstead. And Robert, the former mayor initially fought these charges. Tell us about it.
He did. The former mayor was facing a first-degree felony over how he was spending the taxpayers' money, and they were in the middle of trial. Prosecutors called 7 witnesses to the stand, and the defense was supposed to start presenting its case today to a jury, but former Mayor Michael Wolf changed his mind and pleaded guilty. At the heart of the case are roads like this one.
Wow.
In this case, Mayor Wolf, he was using his position and the taxpayer money of the city of Hempstead to benefit himself.
See there? It's the same thing. They get in these positions and they use the taxpayers' money to benefit themselves.
His family, his friends, his supporters, and people he liked.
Waller County District Attorney Sean Whitmore says a yearly audit of city finances was the first red flags. It uncovered certain people getting a pass on not paying their utility bills.
Wow.
That led to more questions about how former Mayor Michael Wolf was spending taxpayer dollars. Eventually, prosecutors Bennett Dodson and Elliot Beatty amassed binders full of invoices and maps of road work that was never done or never completed.
Our theory of the case was the system was set up as such where basically everything at City Hall flowed through the mayor.
Prosecutor Bennett Dodson says he totaled more than $2 million worth of road work, all approved by the former mayor and all going to one vendor without any checks and balances.
When you looked at the pattern of these invoices over time and where the work was being done, there was absolutely no supervision of the road work, and the city had paid for roads that still don't exist.
Prosecutor Elliot Beatty says Wolf approved all these invoices himself and made sure to keep the amounts low enough to not trigger state bidding laws.
If a project costs more than $50,000, it must be bid out by law. There were invoices for $49,000, $49,800, $48,900, very suspicious amounts.
After initially pleading not guilty, Wolf's attorney told prosecutors this morning his client had changed his mind and would plead guilty. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
Ooh, 6 years. 6 years. 6 years.
He can't go out there and say, well, the jury got it wrong or the judge got it wrong. I'm still innocent. No, you admitted to that conduct.
We're not going to stand for any public official abusing their office for the benefit of others or themselves.
All right. So it sounds like the people from the good old state of Georgia probably gonna be singing this here same song, right? And it just goes to make us look bad.
And as I said, this road was one example in the case. There were several invoices showing.
And look at there. These people taxes paid for a road that's not even here, but they got their pockets greased $2 million, and they cleverly hid it by charging just under the number before it have to be, looked at, under 50,000. So no bids, and it's just a monopoly to this one person, which is probably
work done out here yet.
His company in some kind of way, or a cousin or family member, or some kind of way, it greased the mayor's pockets.
It's still not finished. Now, Sean Whitmore recently took over as district attorney in December for Waller County, and he said he is still looking into whether charges can be filed against the vendor in this case. We did not mention that vendor because no charges have been filed at this time, but the investigation is not yet complete.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get everybody, and that's what's gonna be happening when they start going through all this kind of stuff. And in two, then they'll be able to paint this picture about, look at how, these black people are doing all this kind of stuff. So I'm just saying that, while we're out here claiming all this racism, look at what's going on. Like, should they be allowed to get away with it just because they're black? These people, some of them shouldn't have never even been in these positions. And I feel like they allowed them to do a lot of this stuff just so they can tear them down later and say, look, see, we tried to give them a chance to get off in the government. They just can't stop stealing. They just can't stop misbehaving. It just looks bad. Bad. Oh, I found this interesting. I found an interesting article on one of the one lady merchant that she because I was curious about how did she have a relationship with Wade's partner, the one dude, his partner and divorce attorney. And then I just happened to come across this little article and just share it with you real quick. But they're saying that this here is the merchant who represents Trump co-accused Michael Roman. This is the one lady that was asking the questions, right? And look what her shirt say. Wade, this was in 2016. So they're like, because I was wondering, like, how does she have, kind of a friendly relationship where they sending texts to each other and stuff like that? It's because I guess, I don't know if she's got some ties to Georgia in some way, but she here was supporting Wade for his campaign in Fulton County. So, they all tied in and stuff down there. They are all tied in and stuff down there. This here is merchant, right? She was the one that dude was sending the text to her, Wade's partner, former partner, and divorce attorney. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I'll show y'all a couple more little interesting facts and stuff there. But I'm just want you to see how by not really looking off into things and getting the real information, if you just be led with emotions and stuff like that, how you'll be missing out on the facts. And these Black people that's in charge are just sitting back laughing all the way to the bank too, so just because we Black, we still should judge people for doing the right thing and being honest and truthful. That's the most important thing, right? All right, so here we go. This is a kind of a quick short, and then this will springboard us into our next long video from this same creator here.
They deserve a.
It appears that Ms. Fani Willis is at the moment getting hit from every angle. You have the Georgia State Senate completely independently launch their investigation into this matter, the one that we just read about.
So the Senate, she's going to be taken down. Like, even if this one judge, don't do it, it's out there now, and they're going to be excited to do this, because now when it's time to change hands from Democrats to Republican, they have all these black people to tear down, from all these mayors and stuff that's showing this corruption. Notice we haven't really seen any white people in here doing it. So this way they can show and point the finger, So it's like sometimes we're playing right into the hands.
Then you also have the chairman of the Fulton County Audit Committee launching a separate investigation into the supposed misuse of county funds. Then you also have the House Judiciary Committee at the federal level launching their own official investigation into Mr. Nathan Wade and whether or not federal money flowed through Fulton County to him.
Wow.
Then you have the presiding judge in the actual RICO case against President Trump and his 18 other co-defendants. He's also demanding answers from Ms. Fani Willis, giving her a deadline of this upcoming Friday to answer questions in writing regarding this whole supposed affair. Then you also have the divorce proceedings between Mr. Nathan Wade and his actual wife, Ms. Jocelyn Wade, in which details about this alleged affair are beginning to come to light one after.
His actual wife. Because people been calling her Miss Wade and him Mr. Willis throughout this whole thing.
For the other. And if you thought that was interesting, well, hit that subscribe button and get more videos just like this.
We shall. All right. We shall. All right. I'm going to come back to him because
they deserve a DA that.
Oh, let me just go on and share this one here too. This is this must have been when she was running. Let's go ahead and do this. Wow.
They deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees.
2023.
Did she just say that? Wait a minute, do this one time.
They deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees.
2023 have had sexual relations with Miss Willis, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes.
They deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket.
You only ever paid them through cash.
Well, yes. They deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees.
2023 have had sexual relations with Miss Willis, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes.
They deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket.
That's why even the scriptures say, judge not, ye shall be judged, right? Because she's sitting up here, that's the same thing that now, I'm not sure when when she said that, I'm sure it probably was like in 2020 or so when she was running for this whole thing, to now sit and be, responsible for doing the exact thing that she's sitting up here campaigning against. Let's do this one more little thing.
They deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees.
2023 have had sexual relations with Miss Willis, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes.
They deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket.
You only ever paid them through cash.
Well, yes. They deserve a DA that won't have sex with his.
Wow. All right. So that was a freebie there because I had never seen that one before. I just, now that I see, the algorithm probably just feeding me all these ones. They deserve a DA that won't have sex. So I'm sure that the previous DA, which a lot of these people are corrupt, I'm not trying to say that it's only them. However, what I'm saying is that sometimes they don't go ahead and do all the investigation to think that you can do the same thing and get away with it. Is the mistake that you make, right? Because when it comes time, it's like playing musical chairs, right? Because at a certain time, it's going to be time to stop the music and it's not going to be enough chairs, right? So, they deserve a DA. How dare you, you hypocrite. What a hypocrite. Wow. Okay, now that was, like I said, that was just an extra one there because I didn't know she was about to say that. All right, so here goes the is this, did I play this? Oh, this I wanted to show y'all this. This is super. I ran across this article today too. This here kind of made me a little bit alarmed because of what it was saying here. And then I noticed that when I was watching Fani's interview, how how she was speaking to the people that was in the court working, because these are her courtrooms. She's the DA over this area, and how she was treating this guy here, the judge, like he still worked for her, some kind of way. And here's this story is from the American Spectator, and this is a news story. It came out on March 3rd, and it says why Georgia judge won't disqualify Fani Willis. It says in 2 months, Judge McAfee has to face the voters in overwhelming Democratic Fulton County. So in 2 months, they about to, they're going to be having some voters there. And they're saying that Fulton County is overwhelmingly Democrat. And that's because it's overwhelmingly Black people. So now this guy, we're going to be able to see what he's made out of. If he's going to fold and go on the side of corruption because he's trying to advance his political career, or is he going to do the right thing? A lot of times, like when they was having the testimony, some of his rulings or how he was organizing it, it kind of, I was a little concerned of whose side he was on, because I was like, whose side is this guy on? So apparently, there's going to be some voting going on, and
why GA judge won't disqualify Fani Willis. In 2 months, Judge McAfee has to face the voters in overwhelmingly Democrat Fulton County. Any rational person familiar with the behavior of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis during the prosecutorial misconduct hearings that finally ended last Friday has probably concluded that her conduct has created the appearance of impropriety. This, according to defense lawyers for former President Trump and several co-defendants, is sufficient to disqualify Willis and the Fulton County DA's office from prosecuting the RICO case they launched last August. Indeed, defense attorney Harry McDougald cited 6 examples of actual conflicts of interest, any one of which is sufficient to disqualify Willis and her office. Yet it's unlikely that it will happen. Why not? The decision must be made by Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee, who said on Friday that he would rule on the motion to disqualify Willis and her office in about 2 weeks. Unfortunately for the defendants, McAfee is a temporary appointee to the bench who must face Fulton County voters for the first time about 60 days after his ruling. Georgia's Republican Governor Brian Kemp appointed him last year to complete the term of retiring Judge Christopher S. Brasher. According to McAfee's campaign website, his election will take place on May 21st. Fulton County, which includes Atlanta, is overwhelmingly Democratic, and its voters will be less than pleased with the judge if he disqualifies Willis and her office.
Wow.
Read more from David Catron. Biden's cognitive decline continues apace. Further complicating matters is the fact that McAfee once worked in the Fulton County DA's office and was supervised by none other than Fani Willis.
Whoa! And I even remember her saying that in part of her testimony. She said when I was supervisor over, and she called out the name that she didn't talk about her when she was asked if she had disclosed this personal relationship with anybody, and she was like, when I supervised, and she called his name and said that she, wow. So here saying that she was his supervisor.
To a report in the New York Times. This presumably explains his weirdly passive response to her disruptive courtroom antics during her February 15th testimony.
Wow.
He allowed her to ignore questions, accused defense attorneys of lying, and implied that they represented a threat to democracy. McAfee's supine attitude doesn't bode well for disqualification. Nor do the questions he asked defense attorneys during closing arguments. Here's how he responded to an attorney who questioned Willis's claim to have repaid Nathan Wade back in cash for all his monetary gifts. Attorney: If you do the math on what he actually paid for and what they testified she paid back in cash, you still have over $9,200.
Wow.
$9,240, to be exact, is the amount of money they cannot account for in their testimony.
Wow.
And as Your Honor will remember, there was no mention of cash in Mr. Wade's affidavit. Judge McAfee, before we get into that, let me ask you this. Let's say the theory wasn't even there that they had paid it back or that there had been any exchange. Should there first be a consideration of a materiality requirement? Attorney, no. Judge McAfee, have you seen that in this jurisdiction? Well, it's not in this jurisdiction. Have you seen that in any other jurisdiction? Attorney, I haven't seen that, Judge, and if it was $6, that would still be improper. Judge McAfee, would it still be improper where it's a per se disqualification? If someone, buys their boss a stick of gum, is that per se disqualifying because there's no materiality requirement? McAfee's question was obviously not asked in good faith. He has already stated that no materiality requirement exists in his jurisdiction. The ridiculous stick of gum analogy is clearly meant to distract the attorney so he will stop talking about the preposterous claim by Willis that she reimbursed Nathan Wade in cash for their many romantic jaunts. This is not the only time that Judge McAfee deliberately interrupted defense attorneys to protect Willis.
Yeah, I know.
When an attorney for one co-defendant questioned her about gifts and personal benefits.
And then on one instance, I heard him say, ask your attorney. Ask your attorney. He Freudian slipped it out of his mouth that he was trying to get her to shut up, but she was so into I'm in charge, was still further incriminating herself. He tried to get her to be quiet too. Yep.
She received from Nathan Wade, Willis became belligerent and evasive.
Yep.
Instead of instructing Willis to answer the question, McAfee told the lawyer to sit down and shut up.
Wow.
Attorney, the question on the floor involves aggregate gifts in excess of $100 and your testimony is that you did not receive an aggregate in excess of $100? Judge McAfee, all right, Mr. McDougald, you can sit down now. Attorney, I don't believe she answered that question, Your Honor. She answered as to specific individual gifts. Judge McAfee, and you're not listening to my answer either. So we're done. This testy exchange was with defense attorney Harry McDougald noted in the first paragraph above. He not only cited 6 examples of actual conflicts of interest involving Fani Willis in his closing argument on Friday, he also provided the best metaphorical description of the ethical burden prosecutors bear. The administration of the law and especially that of the criminal law should, like Caesar's wife, be above suspicion and should be free from all temptation, bias or prejudice so far as it is possible for.
Yeah. All right. This is Balance says Fani deserves to go to prison. I agree with you. I mean, so many laws and behavior there, and also said the judge may be corrupt. Also, I agree with you. And just so. Wow. So we saw what happened with that Letitia James, AG from New York and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what happens in the next couple of weeks if this guy is going to, what he's going to do, if he's going to do the right thing. But I'm just going to spend a few minutes to show. We're going to go back to that her testimony to really look at it again on how she dismissed him when she was not there. How her whole energy, everything. Let me pull it back some. I want to find that one when she first gets in there, she starts calling these workers and stuff by their names and demanding that they bring things to her, all that to show her power and control. But we're not going to go over all of them. I'm going to try to find those key points in here. When he tries to get her to be quiet, I'm going to go here, see what happens.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yurdy cash. When you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one. Let's start with the first one. What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
think the first time we went on vacation was around April of 22, and it's
all right. So she said April of 22, first time for the vacation. All right.
Vacation is a stretch, but I'm trying to be comprehensive. I recall April of 22. His birthday is March the 18th. So that would have been his 49th birthday. I took him to like Tennessee for the day. I think we went to a museum. I think we might have stayed the night. I'm not sure. But I mean, Tennessee's kind of hard to call a vacation, but I just am trying to be inclusive. And it, like I said, I know it wasn't more than a day.
See all this little gibberish talk and stuff like that, and not really, answering the question. I don't think, and putting those kind of words and stuff like that.
You're gonna spend the night.
I think that we did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility.
I think there's a possibility that maybe
22.
Who paid for the hotel?
I think I did. It was his birthday.
And would you have used a credit card?
Probably, maybe a debit.
All right, let's see.
When I started dating Mr. Wade, it was right around then.
April 2022?
22, yes.
2022.
It was. It's not like when you're in grade school and you send a little letter and it says, will you be my girlfriend, and you check it. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 22 is my recollection.
Okay, early 22. And you all went to Florida on vacation as well?
I don't recall going to Florida on vacation with him.
You never went to Florida with Mr. Wade?
When we went to get on the cruise ship, we went to Miami.
Okay, that's the only time that you went to Florida with him?
I think we went to Miami and spent the night. That's my recollection.
Okay.
I think we spent the night. That's my recollection. Okay. I think we spent one night so that we wouldn't miss the ship. That's my recollection of our vacation.
Paid for that hotel?
In Miami? I don't remember that.
And how'd you get to Miami?
We would have flown.
We
And
would
we've
have
done
flown.
that, so that I'm clear. We've done that twice. I think one time we stayed, and I honestly can't tell you.
More lies. I'm trying to get to the part where she, but all this stuff here, these movements, when she talks to the judge and tells him, kind of dismisses him.
Is that right?
Is it 2 or 3? I probably would have filed 21, 22, and maybe I haven't filed 23 yet, because isn't it due like June of the next year?
April, I believe. So you filed, let's see, you filed your first one, it looks like April 15th, 2022, and your second one, April 17th, 2023. Does that sound familiar?
That I don't remember the dates, but you're an officer of the court. I'm gonna hope you're telling the truth now.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. I already gave the state a copy, exhibit 20 and 21.
Can somebody bring me some? Yeah. Guys are getting a little.
See, look, he's already bringing the glasses because he's worked with her before. How she's barking out the orders, because these are her courtrooms. She's the DA here. So she's feeling empowered there. He's already there. Everyone in there is pretty much on her side because that's their boss. Before she could even ask for it, he's bringing the glasses because this been his job. That's her bailiff.
Or visit you there. I'm sorry, visit you there.
What condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
So not your house. I know you classified one as house and one as condo. So I'm trying to use those terms.
So there's been more. See, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move. And so,
Commissioner, if you could ask a more precise question.
yes, please give me the time period. that we're
Mr.
talking
Wade
about.
visits you at the.
So this judge, to me, this seems to be on here. Go. Yeah. Okay, it was this guy. I got it.
Employee, or it's your position he wasn't an employee, correct?
Mr. Wade is not an employee, and he will tell you that over.
Okay, so
some taxes. I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Did you tell anyone at Fulton County Board of County Commissioners about your relationship with Mr. Wade?
This is it. We go back. This is where I was going for.
Myself, I was broke as leaving that $50,000. I don't know that I.
Okay, so this here. This
Not
these
the
dates.
sacrifice of once you become DA. Like you got to show up twice a week.
Oh, yeah.
Easiest thing I've ever.
I'm sorry. Easiest thing. This shows you how lazy
That's the next
he
question.
is.
Ms. Willis, Ms. Cross will have plenty of opportunities to let you clarify your answers when it's her turn.
Thank you, Judge. Knowing your role as district attorney, you know that public funds are scrutinized and money is scrutinized and things like that. You understand.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You understand you're under a microscope. You have reporting requirements, all of those types of things. You have no record other than your testimony of the money that you've given Mr. Wade.
You've already asked that question. Let's keep going.
When you took office, you had a tax lien of $4,600. Did you pay that with cash when you made that tax lien whole?
And you hear the judge clear his throat. He is so he can't even believe that this question has come out here. You got this tax lien. He cleared his throat. He's embarrassed for her.
I probably paid through however you pay.
I probably paid through however you pay, like no answers for real. This heifer ain't paid her tax lien.
Okay. So, but you were saying that you had amounts of cash. You still had that lien in 2022 when you were dating Wade and going on these trips. So the cash that you gave him, that could have been used to pay this tax lien off?
You gonna tell me how to pay my bills?
This is not relevant.
So by her admitting to having all this cash and owing the government, this, I'm not an attorney, but sounds like tax evasion. Now, I know that the IRS don't like when you play around and you owe them money. People go to jail for that. They go to federal time for taking money from the government. And if it was only $4,600, you should have had that in your magic cash mattress that to pay. Like, why, where was the money at? Where did you do with all that money?
As it relates to why we're here today.
Mr. Merchant, are you trying to establish that she was insolvent in some way?
I definitely was trying to establish that she did not have these mass amounts of cash that she's talking about. Yes.
All right.
Look at it. She's not concerned about any of this stuff because she's still sitting behind her big chair. This here is my courtroom. These my people.
Re-ask the question.
You had a tax lien in 2022, $4,600.
Did you say I did?
And you did not use this cash that you had to reimburse Mr. Wade to pay that off, correct?
No. I went shopping too when I didn't pay it off.
Wow, defiant. I hope the IRS is listening to this. I went shopping too. I didn't pay the government. Uncle Sam. Up yours, Uncle Sam. Hope y'all listening to this.
And you talked about, you gave a lot of interviews to some authors and what's called finding the books, right?
I would not characterize it as a lot. I probably have spoken to them 2 or 3 times.
My question is relevant as to.
I think it's already come up that finances are discussed in the book. I'll overrule that.
Thank you.
Ms. Willis, you can
So there,
continue.
it sounds like he's being fair because, they trying to get it out. And he's saying, well, the books, talk about the finances, so he going to let it go. But see, these liars, when they telling all of this stuff, they don't remember all of the lies. That's how they could tell 2 different stories in the same story and not realize that you just said that, it was 2020 and then here you said 2022, right?
What came up with Mr. Wade as it relates to hearsay statements that he was asked about in relation to what Ms. Willis may or may not have said in relation to an author. So it's not relevant to the testimony that's occurring at this time.
I think Ms. Merchant has said that inside the book, she also makes a statement as to her own finances, and that's that issue.
Yeah.
So you gave interviews to the authors of this book, correct?
Once or twice.
Okay. And
just to be.
All right, so I just want y'all to see that too. This again goes in to show the her character, the type of person that Miss Fani Willis is. So I'm just happy that this stuff is playing out this way. And then like tomorrow, for those of you who live in a Super Tuesday state, as far as voting and stuff, please get out and vote. Get out and vote so we could, get back our country, take our country back, and all that good stuff. So, We'll be talking about this, keeping up with it. The other thing, like I said, I want to talk about and mix in with these things is those other officials that's out there, like the Letitia James, all that stuff, that how they're doing this. These are strategic moves in order to try to preserve the party that's in office at this moment. But just like I said before, there's nothing new under the sun. If you look back in history, you'll see that there's these cycles, right? There's always these cycles of this kind of stuff happening. And just before we end off today, I'm going to just throw a couple of these little videos out here, just because people always think that just because you're a certain way that now I won't do it. I'm gonna go ahead and close out and say that I will see y'all in another video at a later time, and thank y'all so much for being interested in this. And to again vote tomorrow for all the people who are for your states and stuff like that. Thank y'all so much. Peace and love. Thanks, Balance.